Here's Archie's Travels, Chapter 44, entitled Sleepless Night. Dolly slept soundly and happily, but James was tossing and turning. He'd told his dad of his new girlfriend, and his dad wasn't happy. He said all of the things which James expected him to say. James tried to protest, but it was useless. Stick to and pass your studies, and then you can go gallivanting, was all that his dad would say. He was like a parrot saying the same things over and over again. If I see you with her, I won't be happy, he added. James certainly wasn't happy, and he felt so lonely, and he wished that his mum was here to stick up for him. He loved his dad, but he was way too strict, and James had had enough of it. He needed some fun in his life. There is more to life than non-stop studying and working, he thought miserably. He knew that his dad would never think that way, but he wasn't going to listen to him anymore. He knew that he would have to be more careful and lie if he was forced to. He'd have to tell Dolly, but he was sure that she had enough on her plate with Jack prowling around menacingly. They met the next day for coffee, and James mentioned his predicament. Dolly was sympathetic, but she was also adamant that they would remain a couple. She wasn't going to tell him, but he was her first real boyfriend, and she had never felt so happy in all of her life. Before, she had no real friends, as she was seen as something of a tomboy, and she found other girls to be boring and immature, and she found solace in reading and going for walks in the countryside. She loved the solitude and she loved the sights and sounds, but she had been very lonely, and it wasn't a life she was willing to go back to. They drank their steamy coffee, and then they munched on their delicious bacon sandwiches, and they both noticed how quiet Archie was, and James passed him a long string of hot bacon to chew on. Maybe he's just tired, said Dolly, who was looking concerned. Yeah, dog tired, said James with a wry smile. Not funny, said Dolly, and she stroked Archie lovingly, but she couldn't suppress a giggle. Poor Archie, she said. I think he needs cheering up, she exclaimed. I think we all do, said James, and he banged the table with his fist, making Archie and the cups of coffee jump. Let's go to the seaside, he shouted out a little too loudly, and made all of the customers look up from their boring newspapers.